Hi everyone! I've just finished watching this super popular anime, Solo Leveling, a very straightforward anime. It's all about how insanely powerful the main character becomes, and how the gap between him and everyone else just keeps growing. Aside from showing off how strong he is through monster battles, there really isn't much else going on. I did notice, though, that the main character switches weapons after picking up stronger ones from boss fights. These knives weren't shown in great detail on screen, so I rewatched and compared them with clearer references from elsewhere. I found this image on Pinterest, really sharp and quite close to the anime version, so I'll be using this as my reference. Let's start with the 2D drawing. By the way, I do take commissions for this type of blueprint. If you want to request a custom piece or just the design, feel free to contact me. Once the drawing is ready, place carbon paper underneath, then tape the drawing to the Formex sheet with masking tape, or hold it down with a weight. After tracing, cut it out from the big sheet. Use multiple light strokes to keep your blade perpendicular to the surface. Always cut all the way through. Never try to snap it mid-cut. That'll damage the Formex and might force you to redo everything. To strengthen the blade and give the weapon a bit more weight, because, hey, heavier feels better in the hand, I embedded 3 solid stainless steel rods into the middle layer of Formex. Carving only the middle layer isn't enough thickness for the rods, so I carved shallow grooves into the adjacent layers as well. Not too deep. You don't want to puncture the surface of the blade, but not too shallow either, or the rods won't fit. Once the grooves are done, I just glued the 3 blade layers together. I won't be attaching any other layers just yet, because it'll make it harder to get into tight spaces with my carving knife later. To make sure filming the carving process goes smoothly, I already carved one side beforehand to understand the structure. Now I'll be finishing the other side. When carving, I always start with the larger, simpler shapes first. intentionally carved the patterns on the blade slightly deeper to create emphasis, even though in the reference image, it's not clear whether they're recessed or just two-tone. The most eye-catching part of this weapon, besides the blade design, is probably this dragon scale-like detail here. To create the scale effect, I made the edges of each scale slightly raised compared to the next. You can see the full process in the video. That the three main blade layers are done, it's time to add the grip layer and start carving the handle. I carved it to look like it's wrapped in cloth. If you're wondering why I carved it instead of actually wrapping it, well, it's because I don't know the proper way to do that. And I have no idea what type of cloth would be appropriate. There are just too many unknowns for me to do it for real. And buying the right materials would be expensive too. So I stuck with what I do best, carving, and avoided waste at the same time. To make the wrapped handle look as real as possible, I needed the pattern to flow naturally from front to back. After carving, the surface had a few bumps and uneven areas, so I sanded it down to flatten everything out. Once the surface was smooth, some cracks and pits became visible. So I filled those in with mastix. I diluted the mastix with a gasoline-based solvent to make it easier to spread. Then I let it sit for about 20 minutes to harden, and sanded it again, once or twice more, for best results. The final result is a smooth, even surface. The painting process will be in the next video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.